media for coming to our second press conference for the AKO Fratmen, who just won 39-3 and went 2-0 to start the season. Thank you again to Windsor Honda and Ken Enzer for letting us use their facility to host our press conferences. So the Fratmen are now sitting first in the league after their win over London this Saturday, and we have head coach Mike Lachance to talk about their previous win. Mike.
Thanks, Becca. Quick recap of the game versus London. A good effort. Obviously, when you win, put up a big number, 39-3. It's a feel-good game for us. Now, at the same time, offensively, we didn't really find our rhythm. Some of that was to do with the great play of our special teams and defense. And at one point in the second quarter, we didn't touch the ball offensively, and we had 21 straight points. So offensively, I had our guys kind of re-stretching on the sidelines because there was, like I said, a 20-minute stretch where we didn't have the ball, but we were scoring nonetheless. So it's hard to complain about. Those are first world problems, I suppose, for a head coach to complain about scoring too much on defense and special teams. But as the offensive guy, if I take my head coach hat off and I put my offensive coordinator hat on, it's nice to see the offense kind of get on rhythm. And we had those moments in the game. We had a couple drives in particular, but we're far away right now. Missing here, missing there, maybe one assignment here, one assignment there. We're getting there, but we're not at the point where we need to be offensively to match what we're doing production-wise on special teams and defense. Early on in the season, that's often the way. Offensively, you come around late. Defense and special teams usually early, and this year's no different. The only difference I would say from last year to this year at that point is that offensively I know what we're capable of. We're extremely explosive, and when we get to that point, when our production matches our talent, will be a special thing to watch, I believe, and good things ahead. Hopefully we find it this week against Ottawa. But all in all, like I said, when you beat London, it's a close rival. There's no love lost between the two teams. We know they're going to get better when they get Western's help. That's the second half of the year. Always goes that way with the Beefeaters the last few years. When Western does their cuts, they'll get probably 10 to 20 players. And we expect a better London team and a better London effort when we go up there to London to play. Looking at Ottawa, looking ahead, it's a long trip. We haven't done it in a couple years now, so certainly not looking forward to it. It's a 9-hour bus ride. It's always a tough one. You got to get your legs under you. It's a 7 o'clock game, so you're sitting around all day in the hotel. It's a tough game for sure, and Ottawa's got a real good team. They always do. They have a great coaching staff. They'll be well prepared. I know perimeter-wise they're very good. I just saw them on tape today. They had a big win against Grand River. I think it was 33 or 32-0 against Grand River. So look good on tape, but we won't know until we actually line up and kick it off to see how good they actually are and see how we fare against them. But it's a big game. Usually playoff implications are on the line, first place on the line. And last year, them coming down to Windsor, they had a 17-0 lead on us early, and we pulled it off late and kind of blew them away in the second half. And really, that cost them home field advantage in the playoffs. So it was a big win for us and a big loss for them, and I'm sure they haven't forgot it. So we'll be ready.
Mike, Ottawa, as you mentioned last year, had you guys on the ropes a little bit. Obviously, I'm sure they've checked out the scores from your first two games, watched video of your team. How do you think they will defend against your speed?
Ottawa traditionally has a fast team. Last year they were pretty quick in the perimeter, probably had the speed matchup on us. I don't think we'll lose that track meet any day this year. I think when you match up speed versus speed, we're going to scare some teams, not just with our speed, but with our size. I think physically we're going to be the bigger team most weeks that we play, and I think we'll be the faster teams every week that we play. But at the same time, they could do some things, and I expect them to slide some coverages over to Levi and take their chances with some other receivers, that bodes well in our favor too. We've got some other guys that can make big plays on offense as well, but they could do those things. The good thing about this past game is special teams-wise, we had Wright with a huge punt return and we had Levi with a huge kickoff return. Well, there's two guys back there and you got to kick to one of them, so you pick your poison with those two.
This team could go a long way in the standings, even though it's only your third game. It looks like again maybe Ottawa, throw Hamilton in there still. Beat them, you still have another game with them. But if Ottawa and you guys run the table here, this game could be a deciding factor.
Absolutely, and like I said, it was last year. Last year it was a game that would have took you from first place to third place. This year it can have the same ramifications. The thing with London and Hamilton are our two home-and-home games. So whether you beat them or you lose to them, last year we lost to Hamilton the first game, we beat them in the second. This year we obviously beat London and Hamilton early on. Now they both have a chance to make amends and get us later on in the season and even the score. With Ottawa, you don't have that second chance. There's no forgiveness in this game. You win it, and you go on. So if you win the game, it's a feather in your cap. If you lose it, it's tough to catch up after that in an 8-game schedule for sure.
What do you concentrate on practice? It sounds like offense is the thing that you want to kind of key on more than anything in practice this week. Is it right?
Yeah, just timing on offense. I mean, there's 8 new starters on offense, 3 on the offensive line, new running back, 2 new receivers. Even the returning receivers, we're moving them from positions. So a lot of moving parts on an offense. With a defense, sometimes it's easier. You can kind of play tough and line up, and you really limit your coverages and just be very physical, and you can almost out-physical a team. Special teams, when you have guys like Levi and Josh Wright, and I mean we have a number of other returners that could do the job, you could get away with sometimes being athletic. Offensively, it's a little bit more of a team effort. You need all 12 to play well, and you need all 12 to execute on the same play at the same time for the plays to work normally. Once in a while you can get it where you throw it up to a guy and he can make a catch, but normally in our offense, a lot of short passing game, a real power running game. Everybody's got to be on point. And like I said, it takes a little bit longer to kind of get through it. I mean, you see in the NFL they have 4 preseason games, so that's for a reason. Not just to make money, but I mean, you got to get on point. And offensively, we're not on point yet. We're close, and I watched it on tape, and I see, ooh, we're an inch away here, we're a foot away there, we're 1 block away here, we're 1 missed assignment away there, and it all adds up to kind of inconsistency. So we're hoping that, yeah, we get more consistent as we go, and if we can get through this game, we're going to get a win by any means necessary. It's the first thing on my play sheet. It says win by any means necessary. If it's ugly, it's ugly. If we run the ball 50 times, we run it 50 times. If we have to throw it and have a track meet, so be it. If we win 1-0. As a head coach, I'm happy with that. As an offensive guy, I know I have work to do. But whatever, if we can get through this stretch 3-0, we'll count our blessings. We'll have a nice, safe trip back to Windsor and enjoy the bye week and get on track, because 3 of the next 4 weeks after that, or 2 of the next 3 weeks after that, we'll have byes. So I think there's a lot of time for us to kind of catch up on offense and the second half of the season really explode on people.
Pretty whispered in my ear, football penalties.
Yeah, you know what? Flag fest again, and we've got some things to work on, obviously. The first game we had 16. I couldn't bear to look at that call, and I blacked it out on my sheet. I didn't want to look, but it had to be near there again. Too many penalties, some deserved, some not deserved, but that's football. If they're called, you get them, and you just live with them, right? Tell the players not to worry about them. Certainly I do. I'll yell at the official once in a while. I'll take it up with them if I don't agree with it, but after it's done, and we just kind of move on. Stuff like offsides, that's not on anybody but us. Once in a while, you'll get a call like a roughing penalty. Could go either way. Well, you know what? If it goes against you, it goes against you. You know what I mean? But the more penalties you get, and the more undisciplined you look, the less you're going to get the benefit of the doubt. I try to tell the guys that all the time. If you're a disciplined team that gets 4 or 5 penalties a game, the ref will look the other way when maybe he won't call it sometimes, and he'll look the other way and give you the benefit of the doubt. If you're averaging 12 a game, the refs all know it going into the game. Windsor's undisciplined. They average 12 penalties a game. You're never going to get the benefit of the doubt call one way or the other. So we've got some things to work on, and that's on me as a head coach. That's accountability on my part, and I'll do what I have to do to get rid of them. Hopefully we'll get a better effort this week.
Here's Defensive Player of the Week from the AKO Fratmen, Eric Levis. So a big game for the Fratmen, 39-3 win. But first off, let's talk about that pick 6.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, right from the start, we knew the quarterback was going to be looking to number 4, their top receiver. So kept throwing him the short passes to start the game, and I just read an out route. The quarterback threw it. I managed to get there in time and got on my horse, managed to get to the end zone, and it's a good play.
so now there was tons of excitement after that play. You ran pretty fast from what showed in the film. So how'd that feel? You felt like you were flying or what?
Yeah, I mean, I felt pretty fast after looking on tape. I was like, damn, that was me, but I'm not going to lie, I think I pulled my groin running there, so I just got to ice up the next couple of days, and I should be good to go for this weekend.
So looking into this weekend, how do you plan to prepare for that? And how about that long road trip? How are you going to deal with that?
Honestly, we just got to make sure that we just, do things normal this week, just keep everything scheduled. When we go on our trip, we just got to keep our fluids up, make sure that we eat properly, and just not horse around too much and just focus on what's at hand, which is the game.
All right, thanks, and good luck this weekend.
All right, thanks a lot.
So I'm here with Special Teams Player of the Week, Levi Noel. So first off, you already talked a little bit about the game. Now looking ahead into Ottawa, how are you preparing for that game and the road trip?
Definitely getting into the film, trying to get our routes a little better defined, and work on timing with the quarterback, and I guess just coming together again on special teams and hopefully doing the same thing next week.
Now you've played well these past 2 weeks, but what do you think you personally need to improve on going into Ottawa?
Personally, I would definitely I would think about my blocking a little harder, hold my block for a little longer. As a receiver, working on my stem with against the DBs, and I guess those two things, those two aspects of the game, I could work on.
All right, thanks, and good luck next weekend.
Appreciate it.
Friends, thank you again to Windsor Honda and Ken Enzer for letting us use their facility. And thank you again to the media that came out for the conference. Both players and coaches will be available for one-on-ones. And we'll be on the road this weekend to Ottawa. You can follow all the game through WeTV's Twitter, which is at WeTVWindsor. Thank you.
Thanks everybody for coming this morning. It's been an exciting summer of change for the Windsor Spitfires, and today's announcement really adds to what we're all feeling around here in terms of excitement for the season. With the addition of a world-class player, I'm going to turn things over to Warren Reichel for an introduction.
Thanks, Dave. I just want to welcome everyone here Monday to the beautiful WFCU Center, and obviously thrilled to announce that we have signed Christian Fischer, who's to my right, obviously, to a standard player contract, who also just recently signed with the Phoenix Coyotes. We welcome him so proudly into Windsor. This is a player that I've been after for a long time. Right from the get-go in his midget draft, I watched him, and I had full knowledge of his plans to go to the U.S. program for 2 years, but I drafted him anyways, and very lucky now to get him. And we just want to welcome to Christian, and obviously Rocky's here with me. We're very excited to get a top-end player like this. It's going to make a big difference in our lineup and our day-to-day operation of the team and our ability to win games. And without further ado, I want to introduce Christian and get a couple shots with the jersey here and officially welcome to Windsor.
Today we're here for another reason. It's that Christian Fischer is signed on, and give us your views on the addition of Christian to the team, because Fischer comes in as a highly rated player. He will be a top 6 forward, no doubt, but he really adds a nice element to your team.
Without a doubt, it's a great job by Warren bringing in Christian, and we're so excited that he's chose us and his development path, and we feel that we are the right people to bring him to the next level. And with that said, this year is going to be very exciting for everybody, and to add a person like Christian, who physically, when you see him, you see that he's very mature, great head on his shoulders. He aspires to be after Charlie Coyle, who's a great person to try and emulate based upon how he plays, because he can put the puck in the net, and we see that with Christian, but at the same time he's willing to play a two-way game, which is important, especially if you want to get to the next level and work your way up to the National Hockey League. So we can see why Arizona Coyotes wanted him as high as they did, and how they value him, and we value him in the same way, and we're going to do our best to have success here in Windsor first, and ultimately to develop him for that next level as well.
Newest Spitfire, Christian Fischer. First of all, Christian, welcome to Windsor, and it's certainly been a whirlwind week for you.
Yeah, it's been crazy. Obviously signing a contract with Arizona a couple days ago, and now with Windsor. So it's been crazy. I haven't been home for about a couple, 5 or 6 days. So it's been pretty crazy, but I'm excited. My emotions are everywhere, but I'm ready to get started.
And what can you figure you can bring to this hockey club? We know you're a top 6 forward. You had some real nice numbers, and you played in a real good program with the U.S. and everything else. you're a player that a lot of people think they're going to really help this team. Obviously, what can you bring to this team?
Like you said, I think be able to produce right away. I think coming in this league, I'll be able to produce on the top line. And with that, I'm a big kid, so I think I'm going to play that power forward game. I'm really good at protecting pucks and in the offensive zone. Down low, I think big body, but also I like Warren touched on before. I'm a 200-foot player. I'm not going to be the just the offensive guy cherry picking, trying to score 50 goals. But I think you put all those together, I think I have a pretty solid game.
I know this may seem like an unfair question because you haven't had a chance to look at a lot of these players that you're, first of all, inheriting, and also some of the players that the Windsor's brought in. But on paper, certainly it does look pretty good.
Absolutely. You look at the size, that's important. And we touched on it. Oshawa, the Memorial Cup champions, were the biggest team in the CHL last year. And I coached in the Western Conference last year with the Edmonton Oilers, and size is always a factor. The Western Conference for the last 5 to 10 years has been a big conference, but not big in terms of the old mentality of toughness, but big, skilled players, which is tough to play against.
Like the Kings, the Hawks.
You can't get the puck off them. They have skill, they have size, they support each other well, and when they defend, they're strong, and it's hard to penetrate through that because of the size and the structure that they play with, and that's what we're looking to bring to this hockey club, a pro mentality, a pro style of game, and it's exciting. We have, I believe, the pieces now in place to do that.
Warren, I think it's been a rather eventful summer for the Spitfires. You signed your first 5 draft picks. You get Starjachev, the Russian import, who's I think be a real dandy player too. Give us your impressions of the summer so far. I think it's been a real good summer for Windsor.
You know what? We've worked hard, and I was in the office there. We were alone. I had no coaches and no players there for a while. But I guess you got to rewind it to the last game of the season. We're a much better team we were when we left. Obviously, Sergachev is a top pick in the NHL draft. He's unbelievable. Latour, championship pedigree now, hard-working, solid two-way player with character, and now with Christian, it's truly exciting. We're going to be a much better team, and you got to talk about addition of 2 great coaches too, with Rocky and Trevor. Trevor was unbelievable what he did with that young Sarnia team. So we're glad to have him on this side.